Welcome back, everybody, to The Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be talking about something that I think is super important for businesses these days, and that is network and IT services.
Yeah, it's one of those things you don't think about too much until it goes wrong.
Right.
And then it's all you think about.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a couple articles here, and we're going to kind of break down exactly what's going on in the world of networks and IT services so that you can, be informed and know what to do when things go wrong.
And things will go wrong at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right?
Hopefully not too often.
And inevitably, yeah, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's just jump right into it. One of the things that I was really struck by in reading through this material is just how costly downtime can be for businesses.
Oh, yeah.
You think about, the network goes down for, an hour, no big deal, but it's a really big deal.
Well, think about it this way. If your entire workforce is suddenly unable to work for an hour, how much money are you losing right there? You're paying people to sit there and do nothing, and you're not getting any work done.
Yeah.
And customers can't reach you.
And then you have the kind of knock-on effects of that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, customer dissatisfaction, missed deadlines.
Loss of reputation, potentially.
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's really important to kind of take this stuff seriously and make sure that you're protected.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What are network services, and why are they so essential for businesses to function properly?
All right, well, let's break it down. What exactly are we talking about when we say network services?
Well, at its most basic level, a network service is any service that's provided over a network.
Yep.
That network could be the internet, it could be your local area network at your office. But it's essentially the way that computers and other devices communicate with each other.
Okay, so it's kind of like the infrastructure of the digital world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can think of it like the roads and highways that connect different cities and towns. Your network is what allows data to flow between different devices and systems.
Okay, I like that analogy. So it's not just about having a Wi-Fi connection. It's about the entire system that enables communication and data transfer within a company.
Right, exactly. And network services are all about designing, implementing, and managing that system to make sure everything runs smoothly.
Okay. So, one of the articles that I was reading used a really interesting analogy that I thought was kind of helpful, and that is comparing network services to plumbing.
Okay. I can see where they're going with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
Well, just like plumbing ensures the smooth flow of water throughout a building, network services ensure the uninterrupted flow of data within a company. If there's a leak in the pipes, you've got a problem. If there's a bottleneck or a breakdown in your network, data gets backed up, systems slow down, and productivity takes a hit.
So it's all about keeping things flowing smoothly and efficiently.
Right, and that's why it's so important to have a reliable network service provider that can keep your systems up and running.
Now, speaking of reliable service providers, one of the things that the sources emphasize is the importance of fast response times when things go wrong.
Oh, absolutely. When your network goes down, every minute counts.
Right. And they mentioned that some providers actually guarantee fault resolution in under 2 hours.
That's a pretty good benchmark. You want a provider that can respond quickly and efficiently to get you back up and running as soon as possible.
It's almost like having an insurance policy, right?
In a way, yeah. You're paying for peace of mind, knowing that if something goes wrong, you have a team of experts who can fix it fast.
But it's not just about fixing things when they break, right? What about the proactive side of network services?
Right. A good network service provider doesn't just react to problems. They help you prevent them in the first place. They analyze your network, identify potential weak points, and recommend solutions to optimize performance, security, and scalability.
So it's like having a tech consultant on your team, someone who's always looking ahead and making sure your network is ready to handle whatever challenges come your way.
Exactly. They can help you plan for growth, implement new technologies, and ensure that your network is always evolving to meet the needs of your business.
And that's important for businesses of all sizes, right?
Absolutely. A lot of people think that network services are only for big corporations. But the reality is that any business that relies on technology can benefit from having a dedicated network service provider.
So whether you're a small startup or a multinational enterprise, it's worth considering.
Absolutely. And the beauty of it is that these services can be scaled to fit your specific needs and budget. You don't have to go all out with a massive, complex solution. You can start small and scale up as your business grows.
Okay, so we've got a good handle on the network side of things. Now let's shift gears and talk about IT support, which is a little more focused on the individual user experience, right?
Exactly. While network services focus on the bigger picture of connectivity and infrastructure, IT support is all about helping individual users get the most out of their technology on a day-to-day basis.
So it's about making sure that people have the tools and resources they need to do their jobs effectively without getting bogged down by technical glitches or frustrations.
Right. Things like troubleshooting computer problems, setting up new software, providing training, and generally just making sure that technology is working for people, not against them.
And I imagine that can be a real challenge in today's world, where technology is constantly changing and evolving.
It definitely keeps us on our toes, but that's also what makes it so exciting. There's always something new to learn, new challenges to solve, and new ways to help people leverage technology to achieve their goals.
I can see that. Now, one thing that comes to mind when I think about IT support is the dreaded blue screen of death. I can only imagine how much productivity is lost every year because of computer crashes and software malfunctions.
Oh, I'm sure it's a staggering amount. And that's just one example. Think about all the time people waste trying to figure out how to use a new piece of software or troubleshooting a printer issue. It all adds up.
And that's where a good IT support team can really make a difference.
Absolutely. They can help diagnose and fix problems quickly, provide training and guidance, and generally just take the hassle out of technology.
So it's about more than just fixing things when they break. It's about proactive maintenance, security, and training as well.
Exactly. A good IT support team is constantly working behind the scenes to keep things running smoothly, prevent problems before they occur, and empower users to get the most out of their technology.
Now that we've talked about what network and IT services can do for you, let's discuss how to choose the right provider.
That's a great segue. Choosing the right provider is crucial for getting the most out of your IT investment and ensuring your systems are always up and running.
Okay, so let's talk provider selection. What are the key things to consider when choosing a network and IT service provider? This seems super important considering how much these services impact our work.
Well, first and foremost, you want a provider with a solid track record. Look for experience, expertise, and a proven ability to deliver results. You don't want to be anyone's guinea pig.
Right, you want someone who's been there, done that, and knows how to handle any situation that comes up.
Exactly. And along those same lines, you want a provider who is up to date on the latest technologies and trends. Technology moves so fast these days, you need a partner who can keep pace.
So like certifications, training, that sort of thing.
Precisely. You want a team that is constantly learning and growing so they can bring you the best possible solutions.
Makes sense. Now, what about responsiveness? When things go wrong, and as we discussed, they inevitably will, you need a provider that can jump in and fix things quickly.
Right. Absolutely. Downtime can be incredibly costly, so you need a provider that understands that and is committed to minimizing it. Look for providers who offer clear SLAs, service level agreements, that outline their response times and resolution goals.
So you know exactly what to expect in terms of support.
Right. And you want a provider that is proactive about communication, keeping you informed every step of the way. No one likes to be left in the dark wondering what's going on.
So good communication is key.
Absolutely. You want a partner who will explain things in plain English, not tech jargon, and who will work with you collaboratively to find the best solutions.
And speaking of partners, I imagine trust is a big factor as well. Yeah. You're giving these providers access to some pretty sensitive data and systems.
Absolutely. Security is paramount. Look for providers who have robust security protocols in place, including things like background checks on employees, multi-factor authentication, data encryption, and regular security audits.
It sounds like you really need to do your homework when choosing a provider.
You do. It's not a decision to be taken lightly, but finding the right partner can make all the difference in the world. It can free you up to focus on your core business, knowing that your technology is in good hands.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about finding the right network and IT service provider, but let's shift gears and talk about something that's crucial for maximizing the impact of these services: technical solutions. What kind of tech upgrades can businesses make to really modernize their workplaces and boost efficiency?
Well, there are several areas where technology can make a significant difference. Let's start with hardware. Are your computers and servers up to date? Are they powerful enough to handle the demands of modern software and applications?
So no more struggling with slow computers and lagging systems. It's about having the right equipment to get the job done efficiently.
Exactly. And it's not just about processing power, it's also about storage capacity, memory, and graphics capabilities. Depending on your industry and the type of work you do, you may need specialized hardware to meet your specific needs.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding the right hardware for the job at hand.
Precisely. Now, let's move on to software. This is another area where businesses can see significant improvements in efficiency and productivity. Are you using the latest versions of your operating systems and applications? Are you taking advantage of cloud-based solutions that allow for greater flexibility and collaboration?
Cloud-based solutions seem to be all the rage these days. What are the benefits of moving to the cloud?
Well, there are several. First, cloud-based solutions are typically more affordable than traditional software, which often requires expensive upfront licensing fees.
That's a big plus, especially for smaller businesses with limited budgets.
It is. Second, cloud-based solutions are accessible from anywhere with an internet connection. This allows employees to work remotely, collaborate on projects from different locations, and access their files and applications from any device.
So it's all about flexibility and mobility, no more being tied to a specific computer or office location.
Exactly. And third, cloud-based solutions are typically more secure than traditional software, as data is stored on secure servers and backed up regularly.
So you're not just saving money and increasing flexibility, you're also enhancing security. That's a win-win-win.
It is. And finally, let's not forget about network infrastructure. Is your network cabling up to snuff? Are you using the latest networking technologies to ensure fast and reliable data transfer?
So it's not just about the computers and software, it's about the underlying network that connects everything together.
Exactly. And a well-designed and maintained network can make a huge difference in terms of speed, reliability, and security.
Okay, so we've talked about hardware, software, and network infrastructure. What about the human element? How can businesses ensure that their employees are comfortable and confident using these technologies?
That's a great question, and the articles we reviewed emphasize the importance of training and support. No matter how amazing the technology is, it's only as good as the people using it.
Right. It's like giving someone a Ferrari but never teaching them how to drive a stick shift.
Exactly. So it's crucial to provide employees with adequate training on the new technologies you're implementing. And it's not just about initial training, it's also about ongoing support. People are going to have questions, they're going to run into problems, and they need to know that there's someone there to help them.
So it's about creating a culture of support and continuous learning, making sure people feel empowered to use technology effectively.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears and talk about something that's incredibly relevant for both individuals and businesses: security.
That's a great transition. Security is top of mind for everyone these days, especially with the increasing sophistication of cyber attacks and the rise of remote work.
Exactly. And the articles we read really drove home the point that security is not just about firewalls and antivirus software. It's about having a comprehensive approach that encompasses everything from strong passwords to employee training to data encryption.
Okay, let's break it down. What are some of the key security considerations that businesses and individuals need to be aware of?
Well, one of the most important things is to have strong passwords and enable multi-factor authentication wherever possible. This makes it much harder for hackers to gain access to your accounts, even if they manage to steal your password.
So it's like having two locks on your door instead of just one. It adds an extra layer of protection.
Exactly. Another crucial aspect is keeping your software up to date. Software updates often include security patches that fix vulnerabilities that hackers could exploit.
It's like getting a flu shot for your computer.
Yeah.
It helps protect you from the latest threats.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of protection, it's also important to be cautious about the websites you visit and the links you click on. Phishing scams are becoming increasingly sophisticated, so it's important to be wary of any emails or messages that seem suspicious.
Don't click on anything that looks fishy, right?
Exactly. If you're unsure about a link or an email, it's always best to err on the side of caution. And finally, let's talk about data encryption. This is a critical security measure that scrambles your data to make it unreadable to anyone who doesn't have the decryption key.
It's like putting your data in a secret code that only authorized users can decipher. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground when it comes to security. It's clear that it's a multifaceted issue that requires a holistic approach. But let's shift gears and talk about something else that's incredibly important: the user experience.
That's a great point. We often get so caught up in the technical aspects of IT that we forget about the people who are actually using these systems on a daily basis.
Right. At the end of the day, technology is a tool, and it's only effective if people can use it easily and efficiently.
Exactly. So what can businesses do to create a more user-friendly and productive IT environment? Well, the articles we read highlighted several key areas. First, it's about having the right tools for the job. Are your employees using software and applications that are intuitive, easy to learn, and well-suited to their tasks?
So no more forcing people to use clunky, outdated software that makes their lives harder. It's about finding solutions that are both powerful and user-friendly.
Exactly. And it's not just about the software itself, it's also about how it's implemented and supported. Are your employees adequately trained on the new technologies? Do they have access to clear documentation and helpful support resources?
So it's about creating a culture of support and continuous learning, making sure people feel empowered to use technology effectively. Now that we have discussed some key considerations for choosing a provider and modernizing your workplace, let's bring it all together and think about how to get the most out of these services. We've been talking a lot about the nuts and bolts of network and IT services, but I think it's also important to step back and think about the bigger picture.
Absolutely. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about what that technology enables you to do.
Right, like how does it help businesses achieve their goals, or how does it make our lives easier?
Exactly. And I think one of the biggest benefits of having a strong network and IT infrastructure is that it gives you peace of mind. You know that your systems are reliable, secure, and up to date, so you can focus on your core business without having to worry about technology getting in the way.
It's like having a safety net, right? You know that if something goes wrong, you have a team of experts who can help you get back on track quickly.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that peace of mind can be invaluable, especially in today's fast-paced business environment.
Now, one of the things that really struck me in the articles we read was the emphasis on proactive maintenance and regular network analysis. Can you talk a little bit about why that's so important?
Sure. It's all about preventing problems before they happen. Think of it like going to the doctor for a checkup. It's much easier and less costly to address potential health issues early on than to wait until they become serious illnesses.
Right, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Exactly. And the same principle applies to your IT infrastructure. By conducting regular network analysis, you can identify potential vulnerabilities, optimize performance, and ensure that your systems are running smoothly and securely.
So it's like giving your network a regular tune-up.
Exactly. And it's something that businesses and individuals should be doing on a regular basis. It's not just a one-time thing. Technology is constantly evolving, and new threats emerge all the time. Regular maintenance and analysis help you stay ahead of the curve and protect your systems from potential problems.
It's interesting because we tend to take technology for granted until something goes wrong.
It's true. We don't really think about our network or our computers until they stop working. And then it's a mad scramble to get things back online.
Exactly. And those downtime incidents can be incredibly costly, both in terms of lost productivity and revenue.
Absolutely. That's why it's so important to be proactive about IT maintenance and support. Don't wait for something to break before you take action.
So what are some practical steps that businesses and individuals can take to be more proactive about their IT?
Well, first and foremost, make sure you have a good IT support team in place. Whether it's an in-house team or an outsourced provider, you need someone you can trust to keep your systems running smoothly.
Right, because most of us aren't IT experts ourselves.
Exactly. And even if you are tech-savvy, it's still helpful to have someone else to handle the day-to-day IT tasks so you can focus on your core business.
Okay, so find a good IT support team. What else?
Well, make sure you have a solid backup and disaster recovery plan. This is essential for protecting your data in case of a hardware failure, cyber attack, or other disaster.
Right, because data loss can be devastating for a business.
Absolutely. And it's not just businesses that need to worry about data loss. Individuals should also have a backup plan for their personal files, photos, and other important data.
So back up your data regularly, folks. What else should we be doing?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, make sure your software is up to date. This includes your operating system, applications, and security software. Software updates often include important security patches that can protect you from the latest threats.
So don't ignore those update notifications.
Definitely not. And finally, be smart about your online behavior. Be careful about the websites you visit, the links you click on, and the information you share online. Phishing scams are becoming increasingly sophisticated, so it's important to be vigilant.
Right. Don't click on anything that looks suspicious, and be wary of emails or messages from unknown senders.
Exactly. Common sense goes a long way when it comes to online security.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into network and IT services. Any final thoughts or key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the main takeaway is that technology is an incredible tool that can help us achieve amazing things. But it's important to use it wisely and to have the right support in place. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. and be proactive about protecting your data and systems.
Great advice. It's been fascinating exploring this topic with you. Thanks for sharing your expertise.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Deep Dive. We hope you found this information helpful. Remember, technology doesn't have to be a source of stress. With the right knowledge and support, it can be a powerful tool for success. Until next time, stay curious.